The Arctic and its species, vulnerable to climate change caused by burning fossil fuel. NatWest is the chosen banking sponsor for COP26, but as recently as last year it had been funding Arctic oil and gas exploration, totaling $539 million over several years, though this is actually far, far less than most other banks. Overall, its oil and gas investment is £3.5 billion, according to its boss. NatWest point out, though, that only 1% of their total lending is in oil and gas, though they said they'll continue to fund coal until 2030, even though we didn't ask them about coal.
Join us on our journey to clean energy. We're partnering with COP26, the biggest climate summit on the planet.
Also sponsoring COP26, National Grid. But they have opposed parts of 56 climate legislation bills in the US. They're trying to build large new gas pipelines in New York. They're also a member of the American Gas Association, which has been fighting electrification in 20 states.
Our vision of the future for the cities of the northeastern USA.
National Grid told us categorically we do not support organisations which campaign against action on climate change. We're committed to clean energy goals generally and being net zero by 2050. Closer to home, Peterhead Power Station has been the focus of protests this year. It's Scotland's biggest single CO2 polluter. It's owned by SSE, another COP26 sponsor. They told us they're building more offshore wind capacity than anyone else and are working to transform Peterhead by carbon capture and storage as fast as possible. The point about sponsorship here is what it buys. Advertising, yes, but the key thing is access. Sponsorship opens doors.
These companies will get privileged access to decision makers through side events, through cocktail parties, whatever, to also kind of exert some sort of influence and make sure that their interests are being met.
The story then is just how far we have to go to decarbonise and how complex it is. These sponsor companies still have major fossil fuel links, but in fact they're amongst the most proactive shifting away from carbon. Others won't even be allowed in here.
What do we need? Climate justice! When do we need it? Now!
At the last COP summit in Madrid, protesters walk out on big oil presentations. But in Glasgow, big oil isn't welcome because their carbon strategies don't stack up. Things are changing. Away from the key sponsors, the firm Arup is paid taxpayers' money to advise on the COP's sustainability. But it too has a long track record of work in oil and gas, including the North Sea.
We said no!
Arup also did work for Quadrilla and their doomed fracking enterprise in Lancashire. The company says engaging in the real world of oil and gas is vital to create transition to renewables from fossil fuel. It's not just sponsors, it's the city of Glasgow itself. Its pension fund has hundreds of millions of pounds in fossil fuels. This summer the council voted overwhelmingly to end that, but it isn't that easy.
You can't do that overnight. If we suddenly pulled all of our investments out of a company, you could have devastating financial impact on both the pension fund and indeed on some of those companies.
So from city to sponsors, so much, so long, so deep in fossil fuels. Unlocking the money is central to the success of COP26. It is imperative, but it is not easy.